Hello, I'm PJ Bishop. Welcome to my channel in the ongoing series with the Oakland A's. Let's take a look at our 2026 lineup. And for the first time in my Oakland A's career, we don't have to platoon. The same guys are playing every position, versus righties or lefties. We're now finally good enough to where our starters are good enough versus the righties and lefties on an individual basis. Now, it doesn't mean it'll stay that way throughout the year. It depends how they actually end up playing. If it looks like one guy is just struggling against lefties or righties or whatever, then I'll obviously fix the lineup to adjust to that. But right now, just based off of the ratings, we don't have to platoon. It's not necessary. We can strictly go with a full-time starter at each position, which will really, in my opinion, put our best foot forward as the best players are playing more and have a better chance of playing. And let's take a look at the lineup. So, leading off versus righties is our right fielder, JJ Bleday, and he's 7th versus lefties. So he's one of those guys that may end up being changed out later in the year as he struggles, maybe possibly against lefties. But JJ Bleday, the power is still there. He's only 28 years old. It's like he's old. He's in his prime, so the power should still be there. Last year, 26 home runs, 26 stolen bases. Let's see what his stats were. He's increasingly played in more and more games ever since he made his debut for Miami. But the power is legit. It's there. Although it doesn't look like he'll ever be a high average guy. He's going to be more of a slugger. And that's fine at right field because he's got really good, he's got a good enough arm. He's a good defender. So he's fine for right field. Batting second versus righties and second versus lefties is our shortstop, Jacob Wilson. He was one of those guys that also came out of nowhere, like Ryan Johnson. And it was weird because it was also weird heading into the offseason because I called him up thinking he will be the second baseman and Max Muncy will be the shortstop. But then as the offseason progressed, he actually got much better defensively, where he's a better shortstop. I mean, he's still a better second baseman, but he ended up being a better shortstop than Max Muncy, so it made more sense to put him in. Now, the reason why I like him more than Darell Hernandez is I think he's better defensively, in my opinion, and factually, not just my opinion. He should be better on the stolen bases department, a little slower, but he's more aggressive, and his ability to steal them is better. And he's got a better bat-to-ball skills and better avoid Ks. And he's still got decent power as well, just below average. The gap power, I think, is higher. So overall, I think he's a better player. And still in the minor league country. Should be on the major league. Yeah, he's on my... I guess that will change once he plays. But he is a straight-up rookie. As you can see here, in High A, he started 2024 in High A, where he raked, got a promotion to Double A, slowed down a little bit there. Then last year at Double A, he was absolutely outstanding. Slightly slowed down at Triple A, but still was batting over 300. And then he just magically exploded. What's his history look like? So he was drafted in the first round the year before I took over. Hey, look, he got in trouble for a fight. What's his awards? So he won the Midwest League Player of the Week award back in the day. He was selected to the 2024 Midwest League All-Star team. And he wins the Midwest League Platinum Stick Award at shortstop. So he has experience playing shortstop in the minors, although I was expecting him to be a second baseman. So he's an accomplished player. So really excited to get him for many years to come. Now, if I did move him to second, I think it would actually improve his overall. But unfortunately, at shortstop, it says he's only 55. Batting in the 3-hole for both first righties and lefties is our first baseman, Brett Harris. Now, the reason why I have him playing first over, even though I don't like his power in general, but it's still good enough, was because Brett Harris, is he first? Yes. Surprised it was. Okay. So it is Brett Harris, right? Brett Harris, he's not your prototypical first baseman because the power is not there, but he hits well. At least he should hit well in theory. And defensively, he's really solid. Solid defensively, should be able to steal some bases. Last year for us, roughly half a season, he was okay. He held his own. Definitely needs to be much better if he expects to maintain a spot in the lineup as an everyday player. And then, of course, batting, cleaning up in both lefties and righties is one of my favorite players. And that is our designated hitter, Tyler Soderstrom. He came on strong, like literally came on strong. And as you can see here, he's had a pretty strong spring training too. Finished up with a OPS of over 1,000. That's extremely high. That is MVP level high. If he keeps that up the entire season, he's in the conversation for MVP. OPS is like that. Last year, like I said, he had 22 home runs in just 96 games. So if he was able to play more, I'm sure he would have been crushing more home runs. He's got the chance, like I said, to hit roughly around 250 and smack probably 40 home runs. So we'll see what happens. Batting fifth versus righties and ninth versus lefties is our left fielder, Seth Brown, one of our few players who's in his 30s. He is a free agent after this year, so power is still there, so it makes it difficult to want to not re-sign him as long as the power remains. But he's in one of those spots where I do have younger players that can take over, and obviously cost a lot less than $5 million a year. Rough spring training, but I hope that doesn't really mean anything when it comes to the actual gameplay. Solid year last year, had 29 homers. Did slow down a little bit toward the end of the year, because at one point he was on pace for like 36 or something. Finished just one home run shy of 30 with 29. It still had back-to-back solid campaigns, nearly 2020 in both years, but not quite there. He is getting up there in age. It could be a trade. Could end up trading him around the trade deadline if other guys in the organization prove like they're capable and step up and play well. And then batting number 6 versus righties and 5 versus lefties is our catcher, Shea Langoliers. Just a solid player in my opinion. He's a good catcher. He's decent on the base pass. He's got just enough power to be dangerous there. Last year he was just 2 homers shy of a 2020 year. He finished with 18 home runs and 21 stolen bases. But a good year, so he's a legit 2020 threat and should probably get close to it again this year as the full-time catcher. Batting number 7 versus righties and number 8 versus lefties is our third baseman, Zach Geloff. Still a really good player. Everything about him is fantastic. He's fine here. Could still improve a little bit as well. He's really fine here as he led the league and led the AL in stolen bases, and he's an excellent defender. Above average, it says, but I like to say excellent because of his arm. Back-to-back seasons he's led the AL in stolen bases. He could break 100 stolen bases. He's got that kind of potential. So we'll see what happens. He's an exciting player to watch for sure. Batting number 8 versus righties and 6 versus lefties is our center fielder, Denzel Clark. I keep trying to give other guys a chance. Here's his chance. He can prove himself. He's only 25 years old. But again, it's just every time I give him a chance to prove himself, he falls flat on his face. Ends up spending most of the year in the minors. I like him better than Mauricio. I think he's a better defender because he can play left, right, center. He's definitely better on the base pass. He's got more power. So he seems like a more dangerous player when it comes to that department. He just doesn't seem to be able to click. 2024 AA, fantastic. AAA, fantastic. For me, meh. Not bad, but meh. But that was his debut. Or at least for me it was. He's played before. Last year, AAA. Fine, fantastic. A little regression from the year before, but still, it was still fine. For me, worse. A lot worse. Couldn't even hit 200. So it's just... I'm starting to get concerned that he may never reach his potential and that the avoid Ks will just always keep him down. But again, he's going to get the opportunity to start, and he will. And then, least but not last, batting ninth versus righties and leadoff versus lefties. That's funny. First and last is our second baseman, Max Muncy. Now, Max looks really good. Projected to be... I wonder if I put him at first, if he'd be a better overall. No. So this is the highest he can get. Currently I'm at second base. As you can see, he's a little worse as a shortstop, but at second baseman he's fine. It'll be exciting to see what he does. And this is why I wanted him over Darryl Hernandez anyway. He had better he can roughly hit. He can hit just fine, but he had more power. He had above average power. And he was still fine on the base pass as well. So he was just a better version of Darryl Hernandez. Like if I could get a bigger, faster, stronger Darryl, this is what I would get. And Muncy last year had a pretty decent debut for us. Played roughly in the final month of September. Batting average was okay. The combined OPS was 723. And that's, again, he was a straight-up rookie. He started the year in AA, finished in the majors, and now he's a full-time player. Just a couple of years ago, he was in low A. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Really excited for the future of this team. Nick Allen, still backup shortstop. It's hard to let him go because of this. He's just so good defensively. Even though offensively it just keeps getting worse and worse. How was he last year? Just consistently bad. It was bad the year before. It was bad last year. He just can't seem to get it together offensively. But his defense is really solid, and I can't deny that. Mauricio Dubon also made the roster as a reason why I kept him is because he can also play second, a decent short, and of course a difficult position to find in center field. So whenever Denzel Clark needs a rest, or of course if he keeps playing the way he's used to play, he's gonna have to come in and start in center field. Because he's been solid for us. He was better in Houston. Struggled for me the first year. Got better last year. But it's hard to imagine he's going to keep getting better as he gets older. I almost feel like the best years are gone. Of course, Carson Kelly, our backup catcher. No reason to get rid of him. Solid backup for a cheap price. I'll keep him. I don't think he'll play in 95 games this year, but he'll come in, probably play in 40 or so, depending how many games Shea can play in. And then our last bench bat is Estuary Ruiz. Same thing with Mauricio. Hard to get rid of because he can play left, center, and right, although center field is starting to slowly decline. Even though he's still young at 27, it looks like he's losing a step or two out in the outfield. He is more suited for left. And thanks to his range, he can play right, but he can play all the outfield slots. His weaknesses is his offense is slowly decaying away pretty quickly. I guess that doesn't make sense. Slowly decaying pretty quickly. It's decaying slowly, not quickly, but slowly. Although last year was a step in the right direction as far as being able to hit. So if he can maintain this, he'll have a spot in the roster for sure, because he is dangerous on the base pass. that is the lineup. It's an exciting team. I'm excited for this team. The organization from top to bottom is getting much better. And I don't think like I said, I don't think losing 100 games is something that I feel threatened of this year. I think we can finally be well clear of 100 losses and start focusing on the next step, which to me is try to get to 500. Finish with a 500 record at least. Plus or minus 5 games. Which, of course, if it's a winning record, is even better. But get within like 5 games of 500. You might still have a loser record, but be right there. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to go over our top prospects. Not just any top prospects, but our elite prospects.